So welcome everyone. As you guys should know, but if not, today is World Toilet Day, which is a little interesting of a bit of a name for a day. But then again, considering we have like National Waffle Day and stuff like that, I don't think it's that bad. But the thing about toilets is that it's really a matter of dignity, health, privacy, and need. And I'm going to explain a little bit more about that. So, what is World Toilet Day? And a little bit of a fact check. People have been saying National Toilet Day. It's not. It's a little bit bigger than that. It's World Toilet Day. It was established by the UN in 2013, but it's actually been around since 2001 when the World Toilet Organization thought it up and made it for November 19th. So what it's for is to promote awareness and action for the 4.2 billion people living without proper sanitation, including toilets. That number is something that I've said a lot today, but it's such a huge number that I can't even say it enough, pretty much. If we think about how many people we have in the world right now, which I think is about 7.8 at this point, that's pretty close to half, if not over half, that people that still don't have access to the services that we do and that we take for granted so often. So yeah, this is a huge issue. There is something what is called the global sanitation crisis. I know it sounds big and gloomy and all of this, but it's an issue and a very real problem for a lot of people across the world. Water and sanitation is actually one of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals made by the UN, which are goals that all countries should be trying to strive for by 2030. Oh. We have a new member. Welcome, Judy. Hi. I have just been talking about what World Toilet Day is, which is a day made by the UN to raise awareness for this is what I'm talking about now, the global sanitation crisis. So yeah, the Sustainable Development Goals are something that all countries should reach towards, but we're honestly not doing that great. I don't know the numbers out of my head, but I do know that we have a long way to go to reach the goals that we've set out there, that the UN has set out. Here's some fun, not so fun facts about toilets and water and sanitation and things like that. The first one I've already said, that over half of the global population, or 4.2 billion people, don't have proper sanitation services, including toilets. That means 40% of the global population also don't live without hand washing services like soap and water readily available to them, just like we do, which it's totally different from the way that we live our lives to imagine how they live theirs. And similar too is that there are more than 800 kids every day that die just from diarrheal diseases. So diseases from your poop, in case you don't know. And that might not seem like a lot on a large scale, but that's just kids under 5. And that is just due to one small factor that could be addressed if there are proper sanitation services. And there are so many numbers and facts and data that I could tell you guys to try to convince you or continue to convince you that this is a real issue, but I don't think I have to. I think that's pretty clear. I mean, when we picture rural areas, we picture a lack of necessity, a lack of needs, and this is definitely one of them. I know we go about and we complain sometimes about like gas station bathrooms and some stores that don't maintain their bathrooms very well. And since I've learned about this, I've definitely become a lot more open to trying not to complain about those kind of things and being grateful for the things that I have and that we have that a lot of people really don't. So yes, later on I will give you some more links and things that you can look up and find some more facts on your own. Honestly, this whole thing stemmed out of my global project last year, researching water sanitation and things about that. So yeah, I've gone on a little bit of a rabbit hole with this, and it's gotten me here. So I think it's definitely a topic worth researching. Next slide. All right, who is affected? Children and parents. Like I said, children under 5 are really susceptible to diseases and stuff like that when their parents can't very well clean them or change them or help them deal with their food and digestion issues. And if any of you have changed a diaper before, you know that it's not exactly the nicest process. And imagine that, but without diapers, without garbage cans and toilets and things to help dispose of that. So that's definitely a thing. And if who else is affected? Women and girls. This is a huge one. We've made a lot of progress with gender equality over the years, a huge amount of progress, but there are still large disparities between girls and men in other countries, especially too, where the women are still seen as the primary caretaker of the home, meaning they have to walk sometimes 4-5 miles, I think even more, to get to water, and water that's not clean, and they have to carry it back to their homes to make food and do everything that they need to do with that. That's a huge part of the issues, both societally, both socially, and having to do with sanitation, because the water that a lot of these people go and walk for hours to get to is infested with bugs or with dirt or with all sorts of other things that we probably couldn't even imagine. And they're doing all of this work to get it and bring it home to try and support for their family. It's definitely something that I wouldn't be able to imagine. I know most of us have probably seen pictures of ladies holding baskets on their heads and how some are able to balance and stuff. I don't think I would be able to do that. Maybe in another timeline, another world, but certainly not with my experiences and how I've grown up. But that's the reality for a lot of these girls and a lot of these women. And also too, a lot of us are women here, and after a certain age, there's a certain part of the month that is not as clean as we would like it to be. And for a lot of girls in a lot of different countries and different cultures, that week of the month makes them considered unclean. And so I've known, or not known, but I've heard that some girls and a lot of girls are actually kicked out of their houses for that week or for the whole month just because they're considered unclean and there's no way to care for them. I don't know about you, but especially during that time, I would not want to be kicked out of my house. I would not want to be left to support myself on my own and clean, like, no. So that's definitely something that touches me, and I'm sure touches a lot of teenage girls and women that have gone through that and know what that feels like. To imagine having that without toilets, without the sanitation products and services that we're used to, and without water and all of that, it's really hard. And of course, toilet use and water and sanitation affect that and correlate with that really closely. So yeah, this issue definitely affects women and girls, maybe even a little bit more than men, but as I will point out, this really affects everyone who's affected, who doesn't have access to these kind of things, because it's really a whole community thing. I mean, I've heard stories of kids and adults who've had to do their business in the farm fields or in the nearest place close to their homes and stuff, or maybe a little further. But like things like that can really affect the state of the town or the village or the state of their homes, how that looks. And sometimes if they do it close enough to food sources, it can affect how well they can eat their food and how well that goes down for them. So it's a big issue, guys. I think I've hammered it enough. So what's been done already? I mean, if this is such a big issue, what have people done for it? So besides this inflatable giant toilet that the UN set up in New York, I think last year, or maybe the year before also, there have been some other things. So I saw this picture on the internet. Some people did a campaign for that. I'm not sure where that is, but that's interesting. Bill Gates has done a huge project with toilets and toilet innovation and water access. So it's good to see large money people doing that too. And then people have made a good number of videos on YouTube and stuff explaining what this is. There are a couple of companies like Charity Water that try to do things related to this. If I went completely into water and not just toilets, I could name so many more people and organizations and things that have done things and tried to address this, which is honestly surprising because I personally did not know about this or know how big of an issue this was until last year. So I'm glad to see that there are people that are standing up and doing things for this, but I also know that there's a large gap of people that just don't know or aren't aware. And that's why I am doing this also and asking you guys to help me share the word and help foster that awareness in people. To continue. So part of that awareness and campaign that I've started is kind of extending now. I'm expanding my campaign. Last year, I handed out these clothespins with little toilets on them and helped remind people to be thankful for the things that we have. And honestly, I got a lot of positive feedback from that. But I also got people asking me, okay, so now what? What can I do? And at the time, I did not really have a good answer for them. It just, like I said, it popped out of nowhere with my global project. But yeah, I've expanded a bit this year, and I am looking forward to your guys' support and the rest of the people that continue to support this. And I will explain that in a second. So this two beautiful maps show us Angola, which is a country on the west side of Africa, and is a place where my grandma and her team of missionaries that have support from the United Methodist Church have gone to for a couple of years now and have done quite a number of missions there. Just last year, they did, and actually Miss Goodman's husband, my uncle, went and helped them plan out and make a drinking water device. I don't know what it's called. They practically helped get natural water from a nearby mountain or hill and brought it into the town and made it a reservoir for the town to be able to access that. And now there's a faucet for kids and families and parents to go and get clean running water. So that was definitely a first for the community, for a community that's been ridden by wars, by poverty, by so many other things. I mean, I could go on for a while, and my grandma could too, telling about things that she's noticed and learned and seen there. And just things that she's gathered over her years of being a missionary. I mean, she's told me about how she helped them bring over dogs to help sniff out landmines in the fields, because kids would go and they would be playing, or farmers would go and try to harvest food or plant food to supply the community, and would find their legs blown off or worse, because there are landmines there that are still there from wars that they didn't even fight. I can't, like, there's so many things. And I'm fortunate enough, and my grandma and all of you now, to be able to get into contact with the community that we can help and raise the resources to help with that. So yeah. So these are some pictures that my grandma sent me, that she took, or that her teammates took there, mainly of women and children, because this is for another project that we did around infancy and babies' health and stuff like that. So these are some pictures. The town is called Quéssua in Angola, by the way. So this here, you can see my mouse, I think so. This here is one of many nets, malaria nets, that they took to the townspeople to help protect from malaria, which, in case you don't know, is a disease that is transmitted through mosquitoes and is super hardcore and super deadly in some cases, and really affects the state of the families and the state of the community. And so nets like that certainly helps with that. And then this is a little baby. I thought he was adorable, so I included it. So what can we do? So yeah, one of the main things of this project, is to remember to be grateful and to help spread that and encourage others to do the same. One of my main motivations with this is that it's hard to make a connection with people that are far away, and for a project that seems so much bigger than yourself. But when you are talking about people like you and me, who are thinking of things differently now because we know what the issues are, that I feel like that's more motivation for me, knowing that I'm still changing people's lives, even if it's just with perspective. So I want to prompt you and encourage you guys to help me do that by telling as many people as you can what this is, and to remind them how many things that we have here to be grateful for, and to, if you're religious, if you're not, to thank God for, and to thank in general, to be thankful for. So there's that. That is our main mission, our mission number one. But in my expansion of the campaign this year, I have set up a GoFundMe page where the funds will directly go towards making toilets in that town that I was telling you guys about. Because even though they now have running water, when my grandmother asked them what the next most important need was, the leaders there said toilets. Because as I said in my video, which some of you have seen, I know even with running water and sanitation, or a little bit of sanitation, there's still a need to be able to deal with the disposal of food and things like that. And it really still affects the water, it still affects the food. So you can't, once you have water, you have to go to the next step. And that's something that I want for this community, and I want for these people. I haven't been able to talk to them directly, but my grandma has relayed messages with them, and they're really, really sweet and really kind people, and just super wonderful and grateful for the things that my grandma has done for them and helped them achieve. One of the things with the toilet initiative that I'm doing now is that we won't be paying teams. Well, she'll be sending teams there, but we won't be paying our people to do the work with it. We will be helping, encouraging them, the people in the town, to do it and help give them the opportunities and the materials and the knowledge to do so, but make it so that they're able to sustain on their own and keep it going way past our mission work is done. That's something that I feel is super important when it comes to mission work and charity work, making sure that the people you're giving to have the resources and the ability to keep it going and sustain it for themselves instead of becoming just dependent. I think it's a even more beautiful thing when they can make it their own and do what they need to with it. Because honestly, we can trust them that they have their community and their best interests in mind. Especially knowing some of these people personally, we know that things will get done. So yes, this is my main spiel for World Toilet Day and what this campaign is. I will send out the video to you guys and the GoFundMe. And if you are willing and able to donate, then please do. But if not, sharing and spreading awareness and telling people about this, reminding them to be grateful, that's the main thing of this whole campaign and this whole project in the first place. So if you guys could help me do that, that would be the best gift ever. Here are some more helpful links for more info. Also, a quick Google search will also help you with a lot of these. Just looking up what World Toilet Day is, what the global sanitation crisis is, what Sustainable Development Goal number 6 is, and things like that. As far as getting info on Quéssua itself, that would be through me or my grandma. I talked a little bit, or I have a little blurb on the GoFundMe that you can read too. But yeah, that is my main spiel for this. And I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say. I'm going to stop. Okay, I can see the chat now. So, created a cistern to gather the spring water for the town. Yeah, cistern. I did not know that word. But yes. All right. So, do you guys have any questions? Any comments, concerns? Yeah, and I will post the video along with the GoFundMe page now. I am very happy to announce that we have made some good progress so far. I am at $450 right now for the campaign, which is beyond what I imagined. But I am beyond grateful, and we'll continue to promote this so that we can do more for this community and in general for water and toilets. Percent. So yes, I will post this stuff right now for you guys. I realize I'm still recording, but I think that's okay. Does anybody have anything to say? Any questions? Miss Wong, this is your chance now to.
I talked to. No, so tell us about Angola. How did they get all the people there, and how did they get supplies? Did they get donations locally, or did they have to ship stuff over, or who are all the people involved in that? Did they have engineers? Or it's surprising in some of these countries how simply they'll just pick up and design things and do it. And over here it would be a big deal, you know. They might lean a solar panel against a grass hut and that's their electricity. And you wonder, wow, they can do that. How come we can't do something simple here? So how did that work over there?
So I don't know the specific details. We'll work that out more when she's planning for her trip in July. But I do know that in general, she does a mix of both. I think she takes a lot of things in luggage and ships it over there. I've seen how packed her luggage can get. But yeah, she's taken medical supplies and things like that over there. So I would assume with some things related to this, if I can do a drive later in the year, she'll probably take stuff for that. If not, then the money will go to helping get materials closer to there. I don't know what their infrastructure is like as far as like plumbing, buying things, but I know like she usually stops. Last time she stopped through Dubai to get there, and I know that there are city centers close, not close by, but a decent enough distance away that she'll be able to get the materials to the town. So I'm not really worried about that. I trust that she's got the connections and the people to help make that happen.
Does she need volunteers? You guys could get community to service hours, maybe.
That's a long trip, miss. But I mean, we have. I mean, this year probably not because of the current situation and travel and how that works. I don't think, and I also don't think she's allowed to take minors. Maybe. But that's a little iffy. I was actually planning on going with her upcoming trip this year, but because of this whole thing and travel limitations are probably stronger now and will be for this trip. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be a just her mission this time, to start making things, getting things going, and then hopefully we can send a whole team over there. But yes, for sure. And just as a security, there is a way. The money from the GoFundMe will be going to my church, the church mission funds. But she has assured me that there's a way to make sure that money is only used for toilet and water and sanitation. So that is what I plan on doing. As much as I want to fund all of the mission, I do want there to be a focus on toilets and water because that's part of the project. Yeah. And yeah, like Ms. Goodman said, it's a 4-hour drive to the closest large city, and they don't have the materials, so it has to be arranged ahead of time. Yeah, she does a lot of preparation for these trips. I mean, she's been doing it for a while, so she has the connections for sure, both in-house and in the US and over there. The government, I know, has been a lot more welcoming to her team. Before, they were very critical of mission teams, and I know there's a scare at one point because I think they detained her, or at least like kind of took her aside and kept her from coming in. So that was a bit of a scare for us as family. But yeah, the government has been a lot more helpful with that. And she's actually made a couple friends in government over there, I believe, that have seen what she's doing and are willing to help her with that. I think they funded a whole school because they saw her team helping. So I that's awesome. I find that awesome. And yeah, they get donations from local hospitals for the clinic there, and like the last trip, a mobility car for a young girl who lost her legs. Yes, this story she's told me a couple times. But she helped organize with like a lot of different companies in the US and over there to sell and make and get a cart that can be driven without legs, like a bicycle that can be driven without legs. to a little girl that lost both of her legs. I don't know if it was from a landmine, but I do know that she was walking around or moving herself in a way that was not like, no one should have to do that. So the little bicycle thing, I saw a picture of it, is really, really interesting and really cool to see her face and her reaction to it too. I wish I had more pictures. I'll probably have to get them from her because I know she has tons. So yeah. Is there anything else? I can turn off the recording and we can just have even more of a conversation if you guys want. But I don't think I posted the video. Let me do that. I did post the GoFundMe though. Yeah, that's a little YouTube video I put together last night, and Linda helped me record. I added some bloopers at the end because my niece was a little bit of an interrupter at some points. I had to ask her before we shot at any point, "Are you ready to be quiet?" And she'd be like, "Yes, yes." And then for a couple of them, she would still say something or click my AirPods case or move the blankets or do something. So that was fun, but those are included in bloopers on the video. So, let me stop. And that is my TED Talk. I'm going to stop the recording now.